Woohoo! Let's talk about the Powerbar-S. Yes, this will allow you to use I-type film in your SX-70 SONAR cameras without modification. Let's dive into it.
You know the type of guy that was a jock in high school but ended up becoming a huge nerd? You know, someone that's not afraid to make a fool of themselves on the internet. And someone that likes to shoot Polaroid a little too much. Did I say huge nerd? You know, just an ordinary, everyday guy. Well, that's me. I'm just another Chris.
So a few weeks ago, you may have seen the video I did on the Powerbar. Yeah, this thing is pretty sweet. It's a power solution for SX-70 manual focusing cameras. I went over to Disney World and shot some I-type film, Star Wars Mandalorian film to be exact, over at Galaxy's Edge with this SX-70 camera. Link in the description if you want to check it out, where I break down this power bar made by Dennis at chromatic.parts. It's really cool. However, the one downside of this one is you do have to send your camera off to be modified to allow this to work, because you plug this into the top and it powers the camera through the flash port. It's a really ingenious idea to allow a power solution to shoot any film you want. And also worth noting, you don't actually have to have the camera converted to shoot 600 film to allow for the difference in film speed. You can just throw an ND filter over the pack and you'll be good to go and operate just like an SX-70 camera. But what about the sonar? Well, that's where the Powerbar-S comes into play. This right here is a version 1 prototype. Keep that in mind. It looks identical to the Powerbar, except there's a little S at the end of it. And S means sonar. And the reason I bring up the prototype is that I know Dennis is already working on a version 2 that's a lot better and a little bit more convenient on it. I don't know all of the details, just know there is something coming that is going to be really cool. But this works as it is. It's awesome. To make these two work, it's so simple. You just take your camera, open it up, take your power bar, put it in, then turn it on and take your picture. That's it. How cool and simple is that? No modification required to your camera. But keep in mind, when you do this, you do have to take into account that the film speed is going to be the same as SX-70 film because your camera hasn't been converted. I mean, mine has, so I don't have to worry about this. But if you don't have your camera converted, you don't have to worry about it. It'll still work. You just need to put an ND filter over the pack of I-type film. Otherwise, your photos are going to come out way overexposed because of the difference in film speed. SX-70 film, as you know, shoots a lot slower than 600 film, which I-type is technically 600 film. It just doesn't have a battery in the film pack. That's why you can't power these cameras with these, because there's no battery. But that's where the power bar comes into play. All right, enough talking about it. Let's take a little trip and shoot some photos and see how it does in the field. I'm at a place that I've always wanted to be since I was a little kid. I'm so excited. Things I do to get the shot. All right, I think that's gonna work. I hope. I'm on the floor, by the way, if you can't tell. Let's hope. This thing is super cool, really convenient. I was worried that this battery door was just gonna pop off while I'm walking around with it. but honestly, no problems whatsoever. It's held in by magnets. But there's only one real thing you need to keep in mind when you use one of these is make sure the camera is opened and in the operating position before you turn the pack on. You can insert it into the camera and then you'll be fine, but just once you hit that switch, it's going to activate and power the camera. And if the camera is closed, it can't really spit out an image properly. So you want to make sure it is opened and then you stick it in and you're good to go. And it will remember the positioning. So if you power it off, close the camera down, wait a couple days or whatever it might be, you can then put this back in without the worry of ejecting a photo thinking that it's a brand new pack of film. Don't have to worry about that. It's really cool. That was one thing I was worried about. But if you want to get one of these, there'll be a link in the description below to get in contact with Dennis, and be sure to follow him over on Instagram because he is going to be posting some updates on version 2, which I can't wait for because like I said, this is just the prototype and it works really well, but he's already said there's already some massive improvements that he's working on for this to make it a little bit even more convenient. Now, Dennis doesn't just offer cool and unique products, he also has a repair service, and honestly, he has been phenomenal for me and my community for working on their cameras, I gotta tell you. And his turnaround time is so freaking fast. You do have to ship this off to the UK, and that may scare some people away. However, there's never been an issue. In fact, people have been sending them his cameras and receiving it within a week. Yeah, like back in their hands, fully modified, repaired, whatever it might be. It's pretty crazy. This camera has been repaired, modified, and reskinned by Dennis, and it's been phenomenal. Took this to Disney World, walked around, shot some photos, no problems whatsoever. I'm probably gonna send him this camera pretty soon just because it needs some love. I've used and abused this guy. This has been modified to shoot 600 natively, not by him. I picked this up from someone on Facebook Marketplace a couple of years ago, but it needs some repairs and needs some work, so I'll definitely be sending this to him for some much needed love. So what do you guys think of the Powerbar? You gonna get one? Are you skeptical? Let me know in the comments below. Let's chat. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Now, get out there, make some art.